Imagine working your entire life, 40 years, 50 years, early mornings, late nights, missed vacations, sacrificed weekends, and then retirement finally arrives. Except there's one problem. There's no money, no safety net, no comfort, no freedom, just anxiety, shrinking savings, rising prices, and the terrifying realization that the system you trusted was never built to protect you. Here's the question nobody asks out loud. If retirement is supposed to be the reward for a lifetime of work, why are more retirees today struggling than ever before? Why are pensions disappearing? Why are retirement ages being pushed higher every decade? Why are governments quietly changing the rules? And why do financial institutions keep telling you everything is fine while the foundation is cracking beneath your feet? What you're about to hear isn't discussed on mainstream news. It isn't taught in schools, and it definitely isn't explained by your employer. Because once you understand what's really happening, you'll realize something uncomfortable. The retirement crisis didn't appear overnight. It was engineered over decades. And the worst part, we're only at the beginning. To understand how retirement broke, we need to go back to where the idea even started. Retirement, as we know it, is actually a modern invention. For most of human history, people didn't retire. They worked until they physically couldn't anymore, and then relied on family, community, or charity to survive. That changed in the early 20th century as industrial economies expanded. Governments and corporations introduced pension systems. The promise was simple: work for decades, contribute regularly, and you'll receive guaranteed income for life. It sounded revolutionary, and for a while, it worked. During the economic boom after World War II, companies were profitable, populations were young, and fewer retirees needed support. Governments created public pension systems, employers offered generous defined benefit plans, and retirement became a symbol of stability: a house, a pension, a paid-off mortgage, a quiet life. After work, this became the retirement dream. But hidden inside that dream was a fragile assumption: there would always be more workers than retirees. That assumption is now collapsing. Here's the uncomfortable math behind retirement systems. Most public pension programs work on a pay-as-you-go model. That means today's workers fund today's retirees. It only works when birth rates stay high, employment remains strong, wages rise steadily, and populations remain young. But none of those conditions exist anymore. Birth rates across developed and developing nations are falling fast. People are living longer. Healthcare costs are exploding, and wages are failing to keep up with inflation. This creates a demographic time bomb: fewer workers, more retirees, longer lifespans, higher payouts. Every year, the imbalance grows worse, and governments didn't fix it, they delayed it. Instead of reforming systems early, leaders chose the politically easy option: borrow money, increase debt, and promise future generations would deal with it. As government pensions became strained, corporations began pulling back too. Traditional pensions were expensive, they required long-term commitments, and they carried risk. So companies introduced something new: individual retirement accounts, 401ks, private savings plans, market-based investing. The responsibility quietly shifted. Before, employers guaranteed retirement income. Now, the worker became responsible for everything: saving enough, investing wisely, timing the market correctly, avoiding crashes, managing inflation risk. On paper, this sounded empowering. In reality, it transferred risk from corporations to individuals who were never trained to manage it. Suddenly, retirement security depended on stock market performance. If markets went up, you were lucky. If markets crashed, your future vanished. And Wall Street loved this system, because every contribution meant more capital flowing into financial markets, generating massive profits through fees, management costs, and speculation. Your retirement became someone else's investment vehicle. The cracks didn't appear all at once. They showed up quietly. First came rising retirement ages. What used to be 60 became 65, then 67, then flexible retirement. Now some countries openly discuss pushing it to 70 and beyond. Then came pension cuts. Governments began adjusting formulas, reducing benefits, changing eligibility rules, freezing payments. At the same time, inflation accelerated, housing costs exploded, healthcare became more expensive, food prices surged, energy bills climbed. but retirement income didn't keep up. This created a deadly squeeze. Expenses rose faster than retirement savings. And then came financial crises. Market crashes wiped out retirement accounts overnight. People who planned to retire suddenly had to keep working. Some never recovered. The system wasn't designed to protect people during instability. It was designed to survive on constant growth, and growth is no longer guaranteed. Forget the beach commercials and smiling retirees. Here's the reality. Millions of older people are re-entering the workforce, not because they want purpose, but because they can't afford to stop working. Some are driving delivery vehicles. Some are working retail jobs. Some are doing physical labor their bodies can barely handle. Healthcare costs eat savings faster than inflation. Rent consumes fixed incomes. You cannot personal finance your way out of a systemic crisis. When inflation erodes purchasing power, when markets become unstable, when demographics collapse, and when debt levels explode, individual effort alone isn't enough, and this leads us to the most dangerous phase yet, because the retirement crisis is no longer just about money, it's about social stability. When systems start failing, the first response is never honesty, it's adjustment. Quiet changes, technical reforms, bureaucratic language that hides uncomfortable truths. Across the world, governments are already rewriting the rules of retirement. Retirement ages are being increased. Under the label of longer life expectancy, benefit formulas are being recalculated under sustainability reforms. Payouts are being stretched out, delayed, or capped. On paper, these look reasonable. In reality, they shift the burden back onto workers. You are asked to work longer, save more, receive less, and accept higher uncertainty. At the same time, public pension funds are facing massive funding gaps. These funds assumed stable economic growth, reliable market returns, continuous workforce expansion. None of those assumptions hold anymore. So what happens when the money runs out? Governments have only three tools left. 1. Raise taxes. 2. Print money. 3. Cut benefits. All three options create social tension. Raising taxes angers workers. Printing money fuels inflation. Cutting benefits hurts retirees. There is no painless solution. And this is where the crisis begins to spill into everyday life. Inflation is rarely framed as a retirement problem, but it is the most destructive force retirees face. When you're working, your income can increase. When you're retired, your income is fixed. That means every year inflation quietly steals purchasing power. 5% inflation doesn't sound dramatic, but over 10 years, it can destroy nearly half of your real spending power. Your savings don't shrink on paper, but what they can buy does. This is why retirees feel poorer even when their bank balance looks the same. Housing costs rise, healthcare premiums increase, food prices climb, and pensions rarely adjust fast enough. Inflation becomes a hidden tax on the elderly. And unlike wage earners, retirees have limited ability to recover. Here's another uncomfortable truth. Governments are drowning in debt. Public debt levels today are higher than at almost any point in modern history. Debt was used to stimulate economies, fund social programs, delay difficult reforms, but debt creates future obligations. Interest payments grow, budgets tighten, flexibility disappears. As debt increases, governments have less room to support retirees. This creates a vicious cycle. More retirees gives higher spending, gives more borrowing, gives more inflation, gives lower purchasing power, gives greater hardship, and this cycle feeds on itself. The retirement crisis is not isolated. It is connected to currency stability, government debt, and global economic cycles. Some countries have already experienced what happens when retirement systems collapse. In parts of southern Europe, pension cuts triggered mass protests. In Latin America, retirees saw benefits wiped out by inflation and currency devaluation. In aging economies, young workers are leaving while older populations remain dependent. These aren't isolated incidents, they are early warning signs. The same demographic patterns now exist in many major economies. Fewer births, longer lifespans, higher debt, rising living costs. Different countries, same math, same outcome. Many people believe investing will solve everything. Just buy stocks. Just invest early. Just hold long term. But this assumes stable growth forever. Markets do not move in straight lines. They move in cycles, booms, crashes, recoveries, stagnation. When millions of people retire at the same time and begin withdrawing funds, it creates pressure on markets. At the same time, younger generations earn less in real terms and save less. That reduces the flow of new capital. This creates a dangerous imbalance: more sellers, fewer buyers, lower returns, which means future retirees may not see the same growth previous generations enjoyed. The investment strategy that worked in the past may not work the same way in the future. As retirement systems weaken, tension grows between generations. Younger workers feel overtaxed, older retirees feel abandoned. Governments struggle to satisfy both. This creates political instability. Social trust erodes. Now the window for easy reform is gone. Only hard choices remain. This is not the first time retirement systems have collapsed. Throughout history, societies that built promises on future growth eventually faced reckoning. Empires expanded, overspent, inflated currencies, and struggled to support aging populations. The pattern is consistent. Expansion gives overconfidence, gives debt, gives inflation, gives social strain, gives reset inflation. We are currently in the late stages of this cycle, and history shows that transitions are rarely smooth. So what should you actually understand from all this? The idea of a safe, predictable retirement funded by institutions is fading. Future retirees must assume more uncertainty, not less. Depending on a single system, government pensions, employer plans, or markets, is increasingly risky. Diversification is no longer optional. Not market crashes, not recessions, inflation. It silently erodes decades of savings without headlines. Any retirement plan that ignores inflation is incomplete. This isn't about bad budgeting or poor discipline. It's about demographics, debt, monetary policy, and economic design. Understanding the system matters more than blindly following traditional advice. Here's the question that matters most: if the rules of retirement are changing, are you still playing by outdated assumptions? Are you trusting systems designed for a world that no longer exists? Are you preparing for stability? Or are you preparing for volatility? Because the retirement crisis isn't coming. It's already unfolding, quietly, gradually, relentlessly, and those who recognize it early will have options. Those who ignore it will be forced to adapt later, when choices are limited. If this video changed how you think about retirement, make sure to like this video so more people see this message. Subscribe for deeper breakdowns of money, inflation, and economic systems, and comment below. Do you think retirement will still exist in 30 years? Because the future isn't decided yet, but it is being shaped right now by decisions most people don't even realize are happening. And now, you're one of the few who do.